Okay, everyone. So today we are going to talk about some of the different reports that you will pull at the end of your night, and how we get back to making sure that those are in correctly, making sure you're pulling it correctly, and then updating the Google Drive deposit slip and petty cash reports. So, to get into your closing day documents, this is the Dentrix Office Manager. Everybody's familiar with that by this point. Now, there's two ways that you can pull a day sheet. And so I'm going to show you the way that we do it and the way that there's another option. So we go into the DX1 reports. We click on that icon. We go into management and then down to day sheet. Now you can double click that and it will pop up the box where you can select your date range. So you can do your date range. Most of the time we're doing it at the end of the day. And so we would just do current day, have that current day checked. Up here in clinic selection is where you're going to want to make sure that your clinic is the one that is selected. If it says, if all of these are checked, you should only have rights hopefully to your practice. And so it shouldn't be an issue, but always just double check. So you want to hit those two arrows to the side right here of the all box. So hit those two arrows and it will bring up your clinics that you're available to run reports for will be up here in the top. And so some of us will have more than one practice, some of us will only have one practice. What you want to make sure is down here in this second box, the practice that you actually want to run the report for is down here in this second box. If it is, we hit OK. You can save it as default so that every time you're not having to go in and do some of this every single day when you're running this report, you can save it as default. And therefore it will should automatically come in with your current day and your selection, your clinic selection. You're then going to hit OK. It's going to take a moment to generate the day sheet. The day sheet obviously shows us what has been done for the day, the patients that we're seeing, the date that the entry date and the procedure date that was put onto the ledger, the charges, who the provider was, the clinic, phone numbers for the patient. And also down here towards the bottom, it does show charges that were done. So that's our total production for the day thus far. Applied payments is obviously payments that have been collected from the patient or via insurance. Suspended payments will also be applied. Show you what's been applied here that was suspended. There's your implied insurance payments and so on and so forth. So this is a little bit more detailed in your grand totals for your day sheet, which is why we prefer that this is the one that you use, because it does give you that a little bit more broke down. When you're ready to get out, you just hit OK. I guess I should show you. When you go to print it, just make sure that your file, or when you go to print, select printer, make sure you're on your printer so that you don't end up printing to somebody else's printer. Make sure you're on yours. You can hit OK or print and your report will print. Okay, so that's how you do your day sheet. Alphabetical, chronological, doesn't really matter. It's definitely just an office preference. Some of you probably haven't even paid attention that you could do alphabetical or chronological, but you do have that option when doing a day sheet. And it's right here, alphabetical and chronological. Okay, so that is the proper way to do a day sheet here in the DX1 reporting. The other report that you're going to do at the end of the night is your deposit slip. So it's just same in the same management, down to do deposit slip. Same thing, you're going to double click on the deposit slip and same boxes, okay? Relative date, you're going to do current day or previous day if you're doing them the next morning. We obviously prefer that you do your day slips at the end of the current day. To make sure that you're on balance and make sure, especially with your deposit slip, we want to make sure that everything balances. Same thing up here with your clinic selection. You should have what clinics you're available to and then which ones you're going to show on your report. Make sure you're showing the correct one. Same thing, still has that save as default, so you can go ahead and save those so that you don't have to do the date in the clinic every time. Same thing, you're going to hit OK. It's going to take a moment to generate your report, and it will show you what your credit cards, what your payments are, different things along here. This is where you want to make sure that what you have physically in front of you, as far as your checks, your credit cards, your EFTs, any cash that you may have, this is where you want to make sure that what shows up here shows up is what you physically have in front of you also. So I'm going to actually pull a day slip from yesterday to give us a little bit more detail as far as what we can see on a day slip, because obviously this deposit slip is not going to have a whole lot on it this morning so far. So I'm going to go previous day and show you. So here's what we've got. We've got a check payment. We've got all of our insurance payments. The CC remit is the credit card payments that we do get from the insurance company. It is very important that you are posting those in the claim. As it does update benefits used for the patient. Do not do them as an insurance payment forced or a Visa. Don't clear out the claim and then do a Visa payment. Make sure that you are attaching those CC remits into the claim and running them as such, and then just putting it as a CC remit so we know that it was a credit card remittance. This office doesn't do a lot of EFTs, and so we don't have any EFTs, but in the bank information, when you go to put a check in, it's really important for you to put Delta Dental EFT or Met Dental EFT or whatever company you may be taking EFTs for, so that when you go to do the end of the day drive on Google, you can separate. It's easier to separate those things out, and I'll show you that in just a minute. But we've got our visas, and then we've got our total deposit. So we need to make sure that this number down here is what we physically have in front of us as far as checks, credit cards, cash, and EFTs. We need to make sure that those match at the end of the night before we leave, so that we're running accurate information. And so those are the two main reports that need to be run every single night at the end of your day, is to make sure that those are done. Is your day sheet here underneath management in DX1 reporting, and your deposit slip. There's a couple other reports in here that we'll get into later, but these are the two biggest ones that need to be run at the end of each night and need to be verified for accuracy on those. Once I'm going to step into really quick what's up with this deposit slip. We are going to go into the Google Drive. So once we have our deposit slip and we have got the information on there, and what matches here in the deposit slip matches what we physically have in front of us, we're going to go into our Google Drive and we are going to go into our deposit slip. You guys are going to have these in the shared with me folder. If it's something that you frequently use, it could be right underneath here. We're going to go ahead and double click into our daily deposits right there. And we are going to just go in and verify. Now it takes a minute for everything to load. We want to make sure that we're finding our current month. So we just scan down here along the bottom. We are in November of 2019. And we have got in here now. It looks like our deposit slip in the Google Drive has been updated. So we're going to just verify that we are matching everything that we are saying. So our total is $6,387.46. In our Google Drive, we are showing $6,387.50. So we're going to have to go back through and check that out and see why our totals don't quite match. It's very important that those match, because our controlling department, our finance department, is verifying that. They are verifying that they are not going to actually go into Dentrix and pull your Dentrix numbers out. They are trusting that what you are saying here on this deposit slip on this drive is exactly what they are going to be seeing in the bank. So they're not going to go into Dentrix and take a look. They're going to trust that you're saying you should see $1,314 deposited via credit card, and for the check reading machine, for all of our checks that we did, this is what you should be seeing in the bank. This is what they're going to verify. This is what they're going to go off of. If it isn't accurate and it's not what they took, and it doesn't match up, they will do adjustments on your screen. So you can see here, all of these greens means that they have matched, that they matched completely. What we said should be in the bank was exactly what was in the bank. If it's not, you'll see a red or a yellow, or you'll have some kind of comment on there asking why it doesn't match up. So we'll have to come back and check our checks, because obviously we're saying that it's 4 cents over from what we're saying should be in there. But it's very important that this is also done nightly, to match up with your deposit slip, because they are going in the very next day and they are verifying and doing bank reconciliation. So it's very important that this is accurate and done on a nightly basis in here. Another document that is really important for you to use in your Google Drive and make sure that you're maintaining is your petty cash report. This is anything that's being spent out of the checkbook in the office. As you can see here in my shared with me, it's not one that's quickly popping up. So it's really simple in Google. It's a pretty nice feature, is you can actually kind of type it and it will give you options of what is associated in your Google Drive with the word petty in it. So petty cash right here, I want to verify that I'm on the correct year. I'm going to double click on that, and we're going to go in here and it's going to do the same thing. It always pops up with January. So we're going to go into down here and just make sure they are verifying anything that we are done with here. Same thing, bank reconciliation. They're making sure that what we have is what should be in there, and vice versa. And they want to know best way to do that so that they have that reconciliation and they know what expenses. It does help with the profit and loss statements and the expense reports that are having to be done monthly, so that they know what has been spent on there. So those are some of your big things as far as office managers with our closing reports, and also with the drive update, some of the bigger stuff that you've got to do on the drive. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please reach out to us and let us know, and we will get you taken care of. Thanks.